Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. For today's episode, we are reviewing episodes 5 and 6 of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, and you can watch our other reviews of Cabinet of Curiosities as well. But Akram, these were very interesting stories. I wanted to get your thoughts on episode 5 and 6.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot this time. Again, I think they keep hitting him, and like it's always good, and I'm so glad. I think it has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. I think these two episodes centered around witchcraft. I know you have some theme talking points that you want to go over too, because you made some good points earlier to me before this recording. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Glad to see Ben Barnes back in Netflix. I think this is his third time because he did the Bones thing or whatever, and he also did The Punisher, and then also now on this. So really cool.
I forget the other one, but yeah, I know he did The Punisher too. Yeah, it's great to see him back. I rarely see him these days. He's such a great actor. I remember him from like the Narnia franchise too. Yeah, and the other episode as well. Rupert Grint from Harry Potter is Curtis. So great ensemble cast for these episodes. Yeah, we'll touch on some themes. But yeah, these two episodes were definitely like they had some like witchcraft and like some demonic elements involved. So it was like the last episode we had some more experimental like sci-fi themes. Now it comes back to like this like Lovecraftian kind of like imagery. So let's talk about episode 5, which is called Pickman's Model, directed by Keith Thomas. It was a cool little like I don't know, it's like a cool like homage to like, you know, the time period about like art movements and stuff, and they talk about like kind of like what do we, you know, see as art, and what it's kind of like I was gonna say like I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe it's like the imagination, like somebody's imagination, like are they going mad? Because the whole time I thought like maybe like Ben Barnes' character he was going like mad or something when he saw like the paintings. But actually there was like a demonic like twist to this at the end. So what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like how certain pieces of art move people. You know, it's deeper than just the image. It means something. It has history. It represents a lot of things, and you know, and sometimes it's inherently bad. And so all art really, it's a mixed bag of things, right? It's not just light things, as Crispin, or actually, I think Ben Barnes' later, wife in the show would say, not every art piece is like has light in it. So I think they played with that idea really well, and I liked how they went about it. And it's really cool to see Crispin Glover back. I think he was like awesome here. I'd like to see more of him. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, did he always have that like weird accent?
Oh no,
I can't remember. He had this weird like I don't know if it was like Bostonian or something.
I know,
right.
It's like yeah.
Yeah, but he was fun in this episode. I had a good time with his character. And he wasn't even like bad, I would say. I think he was just kind of like he was so invested in his art, and his art style is like kind of like this macabre or grotesque, you know, style of art, which I actually thought was really cool. I like some of the drawings that he did and the paintings. But as we see, there's kind of like a darker history to him. So his ancestors were like these like cannibalistic like witches, you know, that they ate like human flesh, and there was like he had like some relationships with like these like monsters that were like in his house too. But he's a very sympathetic character, and I feel like you could like talk to him about anything, and he actually does like try to make friends with Thurber, and he's like I value your judgment, right? And yeah, Thurber kind of like descends in like this kind of like madness from like the first like painting that he sees of Dickie. Yeah, what were your thoughts on like some of like the paintings that he had?
Yeah, well, again, he's very sympathetic. I got confused at times because I was thinking, well, maybe Thurber is maybe he is crazy. Like at first, it was like one of those things where it was like maybe this guy Crispin Glover's character isn't all so bad. Maybe it's just in Thurber's head or something. But then again, there was that callback of like the ancestors and stuff like that. And I think that for the most part, I think Thurber's like afraid to delve into different types of art. It's understandable because obviously he's hearing things while looking at the art, but I think it's just because he has that very suave demeanor. He's very like free, I guess. And I guess he's not taken life as serious as probably somebody like Crispin Glover's character is, and they're actually trying to delve into this darkness. And it also shows, it kind of reminds me of Cthulhu, where it's like, the humanity, if you keep going deeper and deeper, you're going to find something, you're going to unlock it, and you might unlock something really bad. And so I think that's what kind of Crispin Glover's character did. But I think in a way he kind of could manage it, whereas somebody like Thurber, his mind wasn't as strong. Because then why the Crispin Glover's character was able to like deflect it. I know he's an ancestor, but like, he was pretty resilient to all that stuff. He took it how it is. But at the same time too, Thurber had a lot to lose as well. So it's like, it's a complex situation. I was very frustrated though with Thurber, because I was like, dude, okay, tell this guy, Crispin Glover's character, tell him like, hey, I'm seeing shit. Like, don't ever come see me again. Don't whatever. No, tell him like, dude, there's something there. Like, what's going on? Please don't put this curse on me or whatever, or something like. At least more of a dialogue. But I thought it was a cool way how they presented that it jumped to different time periods. It took place like between 1906 and 1926. So I like that we keep going into like back then. I feels like back then was way more eviler.
I feel like it's kind of like a commentary too on like different art movements. Like Thurber kind of represents this because he comes from like a very traditional art school, and you can see that like how his professor is like they're totally against what Dickey's like kind of art style is. So maybe he comes from like that more traditionalist background where they see like these contemporary movements as kind of like it's kind of like I don't know, it's like like you said, like evil in a way, or it doesn't make sense, so they're confused by it. So maybe it's like a commentary on that, like he couldn't understand the art, but there is like some demonic shit going on too. I want to get your thoughts still on the ending of this episode, which was fucking crazy. I didn't expect this shit. I was like, holy fuck when I saw it. So Dickey actually, Dickey dies because Thurber shoots him, and then he gets dragged in this well by some demons
in their house, in his house,
in his house, right? And then, which is actually the house of the witch too.
Yeah.
But they recover some of his paintings, and then they actually go into this gallery, and so it's like kind of like a curse. Like whoever looks at the paintings kind of has like these weird like visions, and kind of like they descend into madness. So unfortunately, Thurber's wife and kid looked at the painting, and then we see like they're home, and then the wife is like, she's like cooking something, she's like chopping something. You don't see her face, all you hear is like this chopping block, and then he's kind of like warming up to her. But then when she turns around, like her all her eyes are out, her face is bleeding, and then there's something cooking in the oven. And Chef Ramsay comes out.
You dick! Oh, look at
it's rotten. It's literally Hell's Kitchen.
Right? Yeah, it is.
So tell me your thoughts on that whole scene.
What a shock. What a shock. I mean, she was talking to Crispin Glover's character a little bit earlier. They had dinner and they had some drinks, and she was saying like she has like this feeling or a vision at one point where she's blinded. And she's like floating. Yeah. And so I think everyone has like this type of darkness that they're afraid to reach, while Crispin Glover is kind of like an explorer of that through his paintings, or at least his character. I keep saying Crispin Glover. Sorry, I'm so excited to see him here. And so that scene when she turned around, she was like, it's a cool way how they built it up. I kind of expected it, because I think what spoiled it for me was the thumbnails. Like I knew that some lady had no eyes, and she kind of resembled like that lady with the hair. But then I like how they built it up where he's like, oh, I'm sorry for being this way. And then you hear chopping, but now it sounds like she's chopping like meat, like grotesque meat. And then she turns around and say, boom. And it's a shock. And you even see like some little like meat parts like moving whenever she tilts her head and stuff. So it's very raw, very visceral and ugly. And that's so sad too. So what's inside the oven, because the oven's cooking, and she's like saying like everything will be okay, I'm cooking something, and he opens the oven and it's their kid's like head right there just cooking, and he's like, oh, just like
that shit was gnarly. I thought they were gonna like just like he opens the oven but we don't see the kid. They showed the head. It's in the fucking oven. It's like burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I know this series has been gnarly so far, but I was thinking they were gonna hold back on certain things. But this show does not like hold back anything from like the violence, the gore. Like they show you up front. Even like that scene where like the witch was like like sawing his like throat. You
Oh,
saw
yeah.
like the blade go in.
In his
So I
dream,
love
yeah.
that. Yeah, I love that they're not afraid to take risk with this show. Right. It has a certain audience, I think. It's anyone who's like into like horror and gore. I think it's done tastefully, and they really like push the boundaries of what gore can be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy how now times are changing. A lot of people, like I know in Game of Thrones, something or House of the Dragon, something happens with certain kids, and everyone's wondering, will we actually see it? I think now times are changing where they will show like more children being killed or something bad happening. And then it really brings you into that reality. And so I think the way how they did it in this show, you're so submersed into all the elements of how they present the narrative to you that I think rather than relying on jump scares, you really rely on how disturbing something is, and I think that's more powerful. That sticks with you, as Crispin Glover's art stuck with Thurber. So that was really cool how they did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was awesome. I loved how they set this episode up, and coming from an art background too, this was like a
Oh,
cool like homage to like
hmm
certain artists too. So I feel
awesome.
like every time now I look at a painting, I'm just gonna see like the nun or some shit.
Yeah, it's just like
Right.
you're hearing things. You're gonna get an F, Dylan. You're gonna get an F.
Midterms are next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then going into episode 6, which is actually a Lovecraft inspired story, Dreams in the Witch's House, directed by Catherine Hardwicke. It kind of follows the same kind of like theme about like I think it's like about like obsession, like how we're so obsessed with one thing that we start to lose our sanity, and then it kind of like affects, the people that we're close to. So we're introduced to this character Walt, played by Rupert Grint, and well, yeah, his older self. As a child, he lost his sister, and she kind of like she became like a ghost or something, and then she was dragged into this like other dimension, and then he joins like this like kind of like cult, like spiritual society they call it, where he kind of like studies like the occult and like supernatural elements because he's trying to find his sister back. So I thought it was a cool like little like well, it takes place in what, 1933.
Yeah, which is cool. It's around the same time
Right.
from the other. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you get to see like how like certain like occult like societies like operated back then with their very like analog style. And we see some paintings too in this one, which is so funny because the last episode was about paintings as well. So we see like these like very triangular paintings of this house, which is the witch's house. And they're kind of like these like prophecies, right? So yeah, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Shazam, everybody, and welcome to another. Yeah, and, I know that was really cool. It's very it's like the other episode about the rats. Like it's like one episode's really dark, and then all of a sudden it gets a little bit more lighter somehow with like the music and stuff like that, and just the intro, and especially like the narration and intro too. It's like you're gonna see something fucked up or whatever. So that was yeah, that's how they should have introduced it like that. So yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. The obsession thing I completely get. I think that's awesome to comment on. Again, it's great seeing Rupert Grint. I wish I see him in more things, which is funny because he's actually in an M. Night Shyamalan thing on Apple TV Plus, The Servant. So if you guys want to check it out, it's not really my cup of tea, but it has like this type of similar tone. Oh, we also see Ismael Cruz Cordova back here, which is always great, right?
For Rings of Power, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun episode. I'd say I like the design from some creatures that we're gonna post a poll later, and I want you guys to tell us what this creature is, right? And I'll say I'm on the rat side, Dylan's on the monkey side. We'll let you guys decide. I think you already
I
know.
swear to God, I think it's a monkey, yo. Like Team Dylan, let's go, let's represent. But yeah, so Walt actually does like end up, he goes to this cab or this like bar, and he has like this weird like drug, and then it brings him into like this spirit world, and he actually does find a sister, but he also finds that there's this kind of like this demonic like witch that like wants to possess his body. I like the design of the witch too. It
Me
was very
too.
terrifying. Yeah, it was very like this like birch tree kind of look like kind of reminded me of, like Sleepy Hollow or something.
Yeah.
No, man, her eyes are like really scary too, and she has this
Fiery.
little yeah,
Yeah.
it's very like disturbing, and she like she hovers over him, and at one point she like kissed him. I was like, oh god, it was so gnarly. That's she's trying to get off, I guess.
Yes, man. She-Hulk days. I know, that was
Shit.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she has this little like assistant, which I think is a monkey, but Akram thinks it's a rat.
Rats.
So
It's a rat.
it looks like a monkey. I don't know.
He was
But I
funny.
thought the monkey, yeah, or the rat, whatever it was.
He was weird.
He was funny. He actually like introduced the episode, so he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we're actually gonna have a happy ending." So
Yeah.
as we find out later, it's kind of like an ironic twist. But yeah, so Walt tries to save his sister, but there's like they said it's like because they're twins. One of them has to die for the other one to live or something, and then the witch is like trying to take advantage of his body too, so she can come back into like the spirit world or the real world. And she had like this weird like wand too, and then the sister actually like the witch is about to stab Walt, and then the little sister, I think her name is Ellery or something. She stabs the witch in the face, and the witch actually dies. But then the monkey or the rat, whatever it is. This was a weird scene. It kind of made me think of Alien for a minute because it was like this weird like chest burster scene.
Right.
So we actually think, oh yeah, it's a happy ending. You know, everybody won. But if there's anything this series has taught us so far, like nobody wins. It's like it's so dark and gruesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his name is. I keep calling him the monkey, but I feel like he had a name. I just forgot. But he actually takes control of Walt's body, and he bursts out of it. I didn't understand it though. Like, was he inside him the whole time or something?
Well, yeah, he was inside. Well, I didn't like how they paced that out. It was kind of funny. It was goofy. That thing was goofy. It's like, ha, 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 yeah. And he's like the Star Wars alien. It's like, always. He like runs.
Babu Freak.
Yeah. Babu Freak inhabits Rupert Grin. That makes sense now. Okay, that makes sense. No, he goes inside. He dips, then comes back like to trick everybody, and then he gets up. I don't know if that thing's gonna heal on his chest. So I don't know how he's controlling him. Kind of reminds me of the Alien episode we reviewed. But yeah, it's a suck ending though. Like I wish that more of the show, like at least the series, like I want to see a good ending. Like I was really like hoping that they would all win. And you know, it's interesting because you can't really mess with supernatural elements without it taking a toll on you. Like it's so heavy, and I appreciate that because it's like there's no happy ending when you're messing with this type of stuff. So maybe the point is stay ignorant and also be nice to one another. Really, like that's I'm kind of getting that, and accept yourself and accept what happened. That's what I'm kind of getting.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like maybe the point was like to move on from like past trauma to. But then like I kind of wanted like at least like for him, like if his sister was gonna go to the spirit or whatever, I kind of wanted him to like join her. Maybe he dies and then his spirit joins her in the spirit world, so at least they're like together again.
What the fuck they gonna do there? Just count wood and like look at rocks?
Right.
They're like 1, 2. It's so boring.
Well, I mean, at least it would have been like a cool,
cute.
like cute ending or something. But then like he takes over his body or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a weird ending, but I thought it was like a little comical too. I guess it's a more lighthearted episode, like you said.
It's pretty light, yeah.
Yeah. What were your overall final thoughts on these 2 episodes, and how would you rate them?
I'd say for me, I'd give this like an 8 out of 10. Like both episodes, I'd probably give it an 8. They weren't my favorite. I think they were still super good, but for me, like I would give it an 8 out of 10 just for personal preference. I think that again, both. I love how they keep dropping 2 and they kind of match some way with like a theme. We keep talking about through lines. And I love the actors too. I think that's awesome to see a lot of like an A-list cast. And I think they did it in a way where it's very high quality, but done so well. And every episode feels very individualized to the director, set in Guillermo del Toro's mind. It's like if Guillermo del Toro has like different people, like he has schizophrenia and he has like different like mindsets on stuff. And I think that's awesome, right? That's a great way to expand your creativity and share it with others. I think that's really awesome. So, but I would give it an 8 out of 10, I think, for both episodes, at least today. What about you?
Yeah, great points. Yeah, I think overall, these episodes were pretty strong. These episodes are very consistent, which I like. Even if there's one episode that I'm not like a huge fan of, at least it had like these cool like original concepts, and they're actually like adapting these from like stories that are kind of already like told, but they're bringing it into like this new like modernized like vision, and I like the themes that they play with. I like how these episodes are shot, and like the cinematography and the music is great. Um, so yeah, I think I like episode 5 a little bit more, so I'd give it a 9, and I'd give episode 6 an 8. But overall, I think they were good episodes.
Cool, man. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the end of our review for this this time, guys. If you made it here, we greatly appreciate you. We always say that, and please don't forget to drop a like because we don't want to get a curse. You have to press like, all right, so then we won't be cursed. And also check out our other reviews. Again, week by week we're reviewing Handmaid's Tale and Andor, as I always say. We're gonna record a Halloween special, and that's gonna be posted on October 31st. We cannot wait for you guys to see that. That's gonna be our last spooky content, right? But as always, Dylan, please take us away.
Yeah, we have so much content this month, guys. If you haven't checked already, we covered so many shows, so many movies. So if you're new to the channel, you can check our playlists. You can check our older content if you're so inclined. But we can't do this podcast without you. So any likes, help the channels as well as views. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor as well. And you can check out our social media sites on Instagram and TikTok as well. So thank you for tuning in for this review. Until then, happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween. See you guys.
Still think it's a monkey.
It's a rat, okay?
It looks like a fucking monkey. I swear to God, yo, drop some comments right now.
I'm dropping a poll. All right, don't forget about the poll, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Remember, the midterm election is coming up. Make sure you vote for Dylan.
Vote Akram.